the green light on?
Yeah. Mic on? We're going to keep on going. Talk loud. 602, report of actions taken in closed session, there were none. And let's have an attendance roll call. President Maxfield, aye. Clerk Eldership. Trustee Lopez, here. Trustee Julia is absent. Trustee Hunt. Here. And student rep. Here. Good to see you. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pilot error? Pilot error on my part, so sorry. All right. Approve adopt the agenda. Any additions?
No changes to the agenda.
Okay, looking for motion?
I move the
Student rep? Approve the agenda? Okay. All in favor? Aye. District mission statement. We're a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global society. Item 10, public comments. 10.1, public business from the floor, non-agenda items. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into a dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. The matter may be referred to administration. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each for comments. Big rush to the podium? Okay.
Yeah, hold on, I got one.
All right.
My name is Mark Lindo. I have 3 daughters in the school district, one in 9th grade, another one in 6th grade, another one in 2nd grade. I coach football here, I coach basketball here also. President of Council of the Little League as well as Council of the Wildcats Athletic Boosters. I have a dilemma and confused on the reason why we're paid for professionals, we're not hired back. The academy program is no longer there. I hear it's in school hours, but no longer confused on that whole topic. Any information on that would be highly grateful. Money has been turned down for the CTF program, the agricultural programs, pitching machine for the baseball as well as softball. There's been raises at the administration levels, and we have money to hire 2 firms for a highly sought after position. If we have no money for the kids, I don't know how we have money for this. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Moving on. Item 11, reports, recognition, information, discussion items. 11.1, facilities update.
Hello, everybody. I'll be going over the projects that we did over the summer. A few of those projects include the paving of the elementary school. We removed all the asphalt, replaced it with new pavement. We also added a new pad to add 2 new ball walls. But each one's 10 feet by 20 feet. After the paving was done, we also got fresh striping and the US map was redone. The site is looking to do some additional striping, so we meet with them later on this week to go over what they want to do and see about getting that done. The ball walls were held up in approvals for DSA. We finally got those signed off last week, so the fences should be coming down tomorrow or Wednesday, and the kids will finally be able to use the ball. We also got 3 permanent tetherball courts over in this area. You can see a picture there. Previously, we had tether balls that were anchored into tires that were surrounded by cement, cement surrounded by tires. So it's definitely a big improvement. The next project was the Prop 39 project. We replaced 105 fixtures throughout the campus. Over by rooms 21 and through 27, we had some light poles that were in pretty bad shape. The bases were worn out. You could literally just shake it back and forth. So while we were doing the lighting project, we also went ahead and replaced the poles that are over there. You take the wattage from the lights previously, that was 5,864 watts. With the new lights, we're at 2,147 watts with a watt reduction of 3,700 watts, which I think we should be able to see a little improvement in the electrical bill for that. The next is the cameras and access control. We installed 4 cameras in the interior. You can see there's 1 in each corner, as well as an access control on this door. In the gym, we put an access control on the front door, the lobby door, the equipment room door, as well as the weight room. In terms of cameras, we have 1 camera in the lobby, 4 cameras in the gym, and 1 camera in the weight room. In the wood shop, we put an access control on the main entrance to that building. There's 4 cameras in the classroom area and 1 camera in the wood storage room. I'm really happy with the functionality of the cameras. They have some really good capabilities. The access control is working out well. We've already started to assign readers to be the coaches for access to the gym. There's 2 minor issues to get squared away. The cameras in the gym, they're functioning, but some of the feeds get distorted and pixelated. And the manufacturer came out to troubleshoot that and determine it's the appliance. Basically, it's the server for those. All those cameras come into 1 server that takes care of that has all the recording hardware in there, and then that connects to our network, and that's how we access the cameras and access the recorded information. And then there's a few of the access control hardware parts that are having some issues. They work for the most part, but sometimes when you try to enter the building, you can hear it'll beep, and then you can hear the mechanism go, but it's not engaging the latch. And that seems to be the case on the panic bar style doors, which are the ones where you have a bar to get out. So they're going to be out on Wednesday to take care of that as well. If they can't get the problem solved, they have 3 new devices on hand to take care of those issues. I've been messing around with it when I've had time, and it's pretty user-friendly. But once I'm a little more familiar with it, I'd be glad to give everybody a demo on how it works and some of the capabilities. I think will be pretty impressive.
So, let me interrupt real quick. So for key fob access, so how are we monitoring who has what? And
it's all monitored in the system. We have a printer at the district office, and we have reader cards. These have a chip in them. It's all we have to do is enter the card number into the system. So basically, I'll go to the access control management software, and I can input a person, all the information I need to put in there on them. Then the next, I'll set up their roles, which basically says what they have access to. So I can say they have access to this building, but not the gym, or vice versa, or the entire thing, kind of like a master. And it's all real time. So as soon as you hit save, it updates all the readers
so we'll know that David entered the big gym at 9:02 on Wednesday.
We will, and then all I have to do is go to a search in the cameras and basically say who was standing here in the last week, and it'll narrow it all down to that, to just footage of somebody standing in this area, even just a small area like this box here. So it'll be really good for the wood shop, I think, because if any kids are carving into the surfaces or anything like that, and Eric sees it and asks us to pull the record, we can narrow the search in just a few minutes and come down to what happened. So, like I said, as soon as I can get into it and really get an idea of all the functions and everything like that, then we can do a demo and you can see what it does.
Great, thank you.
And then the next slide is the slide I'm happiest about. Very excited about it, and I was really happy to get the results. I just barely got them late last week, so I was able to get it into this presentation. As you can see, it's got the scores from last year as well as this year. All of them have improved. There's none that have gone down. The elementary school went from 98.27% to 98.33%, and that's considered a good rating. Kind of like ABC grading kind of scale. The high school was 97.55 last year. It's 98.26 this year, almost a percent up. The junior high school is up significantly, which I was really happy about. Last year it was 95.97, which is good. Once you get into the 99 to 100% range, it's considered exemplary. So now we have two schools that have an exemplary rating. The Palisades usually has a pretty high, usually has a 100% rating. The touchy thing about Palisades is if you do get dinged on one thing, it's a huge reduction in business. It's based on the overall scores. So one thing can really bring it down. But one thing that I didn't get a chance to get into the slide is just kind of a district average. So last year, overall, if you average out our scores, we were at 97.94, which is considered good. We just barely squeezed in an exemplary rating for the entire district at 99.06%. So
Congratulations.
all the projects and stuff that have taken place and that everybody's improved really helped us out. In fact, Scott, he's the gentleman from Facilities Inspection Services. He's been doing our inspections for a number of years. And he came to the office just to let me know that out of all the schools he does throughout California, that's all he does is school inspections, and he travels all over California. He said roughly 50 to 60 schools he goes to every year, and ours is one of the top schools, one of the nicest schools he goes to, so that's definitely a lot to say about for
We've come a long way. Nice job, appreciate it.
All right, and then the last slide is when we were coming into the summer, I gave you a heads up on where we were at on deferred work orders. We went into the summer with 25. We completed 23. There's still 2 left, but they're projects that I'd like to do a little more with. There's the facilities, bathrooms, the linoleum's old and the seam's splitting. When they were out doing the carpets this summer, I had them check it out, and it's not something we can just fix. It's a big enough gap that we should probably just replace the linoleum. So they gave me a proposal for that, but if we're going to do that, I'd like to pull out all the fixtures and have my guys come in and paint and do a little touch-up similar to what we did at the elementary school. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold on to that one. And then another one is the roll-up door behind the stage at CES. It leaks when it rains good. And the guys tried something to clean it up and really push the door down. I'm hoping it fixed it, but I don't want to close out the work order until it's all done. And then just something that I found interesting while I was looking through it, just from the time we were in summer from June 2nd to August 11th, we had 99 work orders come in. That's incorrect. I had updated the bottom part and forgot to update the top. We completed 97 work orders and we have 2 currently still in progress. One was a pretty large work order with numerous things in the scope, so a lot of them are done, but some of them we just can't do until we have another break. And then the second one was just some parts that are over. So that's it for my update. Is there any questions or comments?
No.
Congratulations on your inspection.
Brian has a question.
Yeah, Chris, I have a question. I noticed, and I haven't looked for the last month or so, but one of the basketball posts, the hoop posts, had been hit by a truck at some point in time, and it's out vertical. Did that get noticed, and did that get fixed during the process of?
No, it's on the punch list items, but we're not sure if it was before or
Pre-existing or not?
yeah,
I wasn't sure.
It's a slight. It's just got a slight tilt to it. I'm not sure.
It would have been a great time to fix it. Okay.
If anybody wants to take a look at this? No.
We have, thank you.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Thank you.
Nicely done. $11.2, principal's report. Okay.
All right, hopefully, oh, I have a microphone tonight. This is progress. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to focus my report more on reporting on Yosemite, because within my principal's report, I hadn't ever done this field trip before, and so I was a little light in that section with the understanding that I was going to have the experience to be able to talk about it. So last week, we had 68 of our 6th graders participate in our annual Yosemite field trip, which is a partnership with Nature Bridge, which also we partner with for our 5th grade field trip as well. And so the students stayed at Half Dome Village. That's the new name. It used to be called Curry Village, so that was a little confusing on the map finder, but we were able to find it. And basically, they stayed in those 10 cabins, and they worked each day with coordinators for Nature Bridge. And those coordinators for Nature Bridge worked on concepts like team building. So the students were divided in groups of about 15 students per group. They did team building activities where they would have to work together towards a common goal. They also learned about the geology of Yosemite National Park, which is pretty much one of the wonders of the world if you consider how it was carved out with all that glacier action. And then they also learned about the environmental footprint and impact of human actions in the area, and specifically being aware of leaving a place looking better than when you arrived. And also being aware that there are some invasive plants there that need to be taken care of. And so some groups participate in activities such as removing of plants that are not native to the area. They learned about the history of which Native American tribes lived there and how they lived there. And they also learned about who settled in that area. And then the final thing, which probably the students would comment on the most, was hiking. On average, students did between 6 and 8 miles a day of hiking. And that was pretty much from Tuesday, and then Friday was a light day, and it was only 3.5 miles. I actually checked on my little exercise device. And so students did activities between 9 and 4 p.m. There was an evening program, and really, I think my takeaway from this experience was just what an institution this opportunity for our 6th grade students is. And really, I think that even though the bus showed up a little bit late on Friday, there was definitely a cheer and a festive attitude from our parents, seeing their kids come back. For some of our students, this is the first time they've ever been away from home, and I think that is one of those big soft skills that we want to have for our kids, is fostering that independence. We also had really great parent chaperones. We had Michelle Hickman, Ellie Galindo, Dan Herndon, Elizabeth Herman, and Julie Shane, who went along on the trip. And we also had our 6th grade teachers, Autumn Grove, Matt Eugenius, Amy Palma and Pam Rubel shared a position, and myself and George Valenzuela, the vice principal, went down and shared the week as well. So I just wanted to give you a sense of just how all-encompassing this week opportunity is for our 6th grade, and just what a unique opportunity we have within this district to have that field trip. And thank you for your support.
Okay, junior high. So again, this year we're going to participate in homecoming. So we had some class meetings recently, and junior high has decided to participate in both the powder puff on Monday night and the parade on Friday. So they're working to get that stuff together and practice at lunchtime for the powder puff. Palisades, the first quarter ends this Friday. Students I've met with every student to kind of look to see how much progress they've made and where they are. At the beginning of the year, Ms. Hanson and I sat down with every student. We scoped out their plan for this year. We looked at one semester at a time to see where they would be. I had a chance to review with every student their grades and the progress that they're making towards their goals. Most of them are right on track. They're working hard, staying after to meet with her, to make sure that they have enough time to complete all the assignments, to get everything taken care of. So they've been working real hard. Today, they had an opportunity to work with Ms. Serber. The FAFSA opened up on October 1st, which was last Saturday. And so she came into the classroom and worked with the students in completing their FAFSAs, because many of them want to go on to get a certificate program, either at the JC or at Napa Valley College. And so they were filling those out today. We were successful in getting one completed. The others, they were missing a little information here and there. It happens. So the plan is to go back again another day, I think Thursday, to finish up the rest of the kids. The last thing is we did a math readiness test in 7th, 8th, and algebra to see where our students are coming into the classes. So it's a 7th grade Common Core readiness test and 8th grade readiness test, and again, algebra readiness test. The plan is to take a look at the data to see where the holes are with our students so that we can work with them to fill those gaps. And then in the spring, take the test again to see if they're ready for the next level of class. And again, one day we'll release the teachers to kind of take a look at that data to go over and analyze it.
Just to piggyback on what David said about FAFSA, it's moved up from February to Carla, and now it's October 1st. And on Saturday, Carla and actually David came in too, and there was a FAFSA day, and there was probably 31 or 60 seniors completed it with the parents. It was fabulous. We're starting this new process of trying to support our male students. I appreciate that one in the board report talks a little bit about this plan that I've kind of come up with, and so far it's working really well. We're happy about it. Meeting with the parents, and we're bringing in the support of the Family Center. And some of the ideas came from an NPR, this one NPR, was Syrian refugees coming into the United States. We may not always know how education works, or how to parent, and so on. And so we're trying to help our newcomers and their families feel supported. And what is a 4-year plan? What is graduation requirement? What does an A, B, C, D mean? What does that all mean? And then if there's support, like one of our families, they're lost their mom to cancer. And so the family center is really great about coordinating psychology, therapist help, and something that. So, and then we also are bringing in migrant ed, some more students program, and they've got some support that they can provide for families too. And with the support of Dr. Monroe, we've been able to use someone in the library at our school who's speaks Spanish, and we can look at the kids, and we're trying to group the students so that they're with each other and there's some kind of support in the class for those students, so that they can start feeling more success. Because I think if you go into a class and you don't know very much English and you're not having the support they're really demoralizing, it's very difficult. So we're trying to shore them up, provide the scaffolding we have. And so every Thursday morning, at 7:30, we meet with a new family. And then once a month, we have a time where we reconvene and talk about the 4 families we've previously met with. How's it going? How are the students doing? How's the support being provided? There's things that falling through. So the goal is to create a plan for these students to show where we expect them to be next year, the year after that, and the year after that, so they can see that our expectations are moving from EL level 1 or 2, and next year we'll be reaching 3 and 4, and these are people we need support. So when they leave the meetings, we plan for the parents, their responsibility, the students' responsibility, the school's responsibility, give private ed kind of responsibility, the family center kind of responsibility. We're all partners up together for these kids. So that's been a really exciting change. We're starting the master scheduling building process. I know it's early, but we want to get a jump start on that. One of the things, the reason why we're starting is we've been given an opportunity to work with Napa parents to possibly create a class. And this is kind of a brainchild of Dr. Monroe great. It's, we're so small, right? So if you want to take psychology, and there's only 3 kids that want to take psychology, how do you offer psychology class? Or how do you offer whatever? There's now companies that offer online A to G UC-approved courses that students can take. So we can offer, it's probably a list of 80 different courses. They're all UC-approved. And one teacher can be a facilitator, the students will be online. They basically learn about those courses without us having to put 5 or 6 instructors out for 4 or 5 students who can consult everything on the class. And so in the process of working with Mario from Napa Women's to write that down, I think that's this was in the new things starting along the master schedule. And I'll brief you more on other things that come up.
That's fantastic. That's a great, sounds like a great program.
Superintendent?
Okay. Well, one thing I was noticing that homecoming's coming up,
It is coming up.
and is the homecoming dance October 16th? You gonna talk about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about
Well, then you're next.
Okay.
Student rep. And my working too.
Okay, so my information focuses mainly on homecoming. I heard Mr. Kumho, you briefly went over, I think we went over the bonfire and then powder puff.
I mentioned powder puff.
You mentioned powder puff. So on Friday last week, we concluded our class meetings, so we know when and where we're building the floats that are going to go in the parade. In the past, for the week of 10/10 through 10/14, we've held a different rally each day at a break. But what we agreed was that the quality of the rallies was not so great because they were always super rushed. So we decided to reduce that to 2. It's looking like we're going to do that on Monday and Tuesday. So that's going to be 10/10 and 10/11. Powder Puff is going to be on that Monday, 10/10, and it should be at 6:30 at the fairgrounds. We got approval for the parade downtown on Friday. We filled out the forms for the bonfire as well, and that's paid in full. So also on Friday we have the homecoming dance right after the football game, which is also at the fairgrounds. And we managed to make enough money so that we can have it at the fairgrounds and pay for that lighting, so we can have a night game, because that can get quite expensive.
So we have the football game, the 14th Friday.
Yes.
And the dance is the 14th.
And the dance is right after. Okay, so the game is 7 to 8:30, and then the dance is 8:30 to 10. So those times can change.
So we have a new student senate. Will be presenting, it's tomorrow, so he'll be coming from here and presenting whatever information that he feels necessary that comes out of here. So if you ever have anything you want input from the student body from, Will's charge and responsibility is to go to the student senate. Every 5th grade class is represented. So they'll be taking that information back to their constituents. And we're trying to practice Senate type of approach where we'll go back and get information and bring it back. And we're using our leadership team for the same information. We'll have one student on the leadership team who reports to the student senate, and then they'll go back to their constituents in the classrooms with them. So we hope this is going to be a real positive thing for your students involved.
Sounds like a great program. All right, thank you. Schools for Sound Finance, Superintendent.
Prior to getting to that, I'd like to say congratulations, Will. It shows that you came prepared. This is your first official report, and look at you. You have a notebook, and you knew exactly what you needed to share with us, so I truly appreciate it. Congratulations. Before you is a Schools for Sound Finance report, basically, on your packet. And this is just to give you a preview of what's coming as of 2017-2018. As you know, the state has been working on replacing the Academic Performance Index and creating a new accountability system that will align with the LCAP as well as the LCFF. And again, it's right there on the packet. It's just to give you an idea right now what indicators of school success they will be considering and how they're going to be measuring schools and school districts' performance in general. So there will be a lot more coming. I understand that also the LCAP template has been revised, and soon we're going to be getting a lot more information about the specifics of those changes to the LCAP.
As I mentioned in previous meetings, the CSBA Delegates Assembly took time to take opinions about, the template of the LCAP and all different aspects of it. And they did an extensive work on getting the input from the memberships in order to, do the suggested changes. So we're hoping that it's going to be an easier document to navigate and to read and more easy to understand for, different audiences. So.
And item 11.6, LCAP approval.
Yes, finally, we can say that the LCAP as well as the budget have been officially approved. And that's the evidence right here.
You can see that here. You can see that. Thank you. All right. Moving on, item 12, consent calendar. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff requests specific items be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Looking for a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, this is roll call. President Maxwell, aye. Clerk Elfisham. Trustee Lopez. Trustee DiGiulio is absent. Trustee Hunt. Aye. Student rep. All right. Item 13, action items. Protocol for action items includes staff presentations, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. 13.1, Calistoga Education Foundation grants. I see Ms. Morgan. This is always good.
It's great. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to join you tonight. I'm Lisa Morgan, and I would represent the Calistoga Education Foundation Board and Grant Committee. We're honored to partner with the district and the Board of Trustees in serving the children of this community. Our purpose as a foundation is and always has been to provide experiences inside and outside of the school setting that enrich learning opportunities for children. I want to personally thank the administrators at both sites for their patience as they become familiar with the grant process. I recognize the extra work that they put in along with other staff members to facilitate this process. We received over $57,000 in requests and are funding $53,000 in grants. The grants have been carefully planned by dedicated teachers, reviewed by administration, as well as the CEF grant committee and board, and we respectfully submit them to you for your endorsement. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for all the CEF's hard work. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That's great. Well, we have a request to accept the approved CEF grants as presented. All right, all in favor? Aye. Student rep. 13.2, Mahoney Consulting. Scott Mahoney presented to the Board of Trustees on September 12, 2016, explaining the process of recruiting a new superintendent.
the board considered the proposals, and at this point, we're bringing to you for consideration and approval Mahoney Consulting contract.
Looking for a motion. Public comment?
Yes, thank you, Brian Fenton. About 4 months ago, I guess the board had decided to hire a consultant. And when you establish a subcommittee, various of you may or may not have contacted the county office of education about any help that they might provide to you. So then I just want to be clear about the process that went on. So you put out for RFPs, you reviewed some RFPs, you selected 2 companies, firms. And so last month it was revealed to the public that you had 2 companies that you had made this proposal to have these consultants help with the hiring process. And then that presentation, or I don't know, the presentation was made, and now you've selected one. I guess you went in a closed session again and selected one of these firms to do this work. And I'm bringing this up just to be clear about the process, because there are poor communications and transparency is not a great thing with this board that I've found with this administration. But just a reminder, Mark presented that too, that you allowed for cutting of paraprofessional support and enrichment programs at the elementary school. So there's questions, well, why did those funds get taken away, and yet you had funds for this? Okay, that aside, and this is nothing about, about who this is, or even the process of having this, because I did some research about this. It's a very common thing. Some boards use search consultants and some do not. But what I found is a very common process that goes on now, and I'm not sure and clear about how this is. So you have a selection subcommittee, and what in my research out there, what I found is, they get to this point, and then the next thing that happens is that selection subcommittee gets expanded to include other participants. You might have a representative from the Teachers Association, Parents Association. You may in fact have someone from Chamber of Commerce in a city, an administration organization, different representatives on that committee. And then that selection committee will be charged with holding in this board to hold public forums. They usually have a number of public forums. They prefer to have lots of input. And that's what my experience in that they have online surveys at the beginning, and they're trying to get, finding out the traits and characteristics. I'm just putting this out there. What I found is very common last year is the number of school districts that hired last year. So I don't know whether you intend to do that or not after have these expanding committee.
Are you talking about the hiring of a consultant, or are you talking about the process?
No, I'm beyond hiring a consultant. Now I'm in the next. I'm saying after you hire the
If you would
consultant.
let Scott talk.
Okay, that would be great. Oh, I didn't know it was. It sounded like you were going to vote on it.
Well, we're going to, but
Oh, great.
we're going to address all those concerns.
Okay.
Also, I would like
Thank
to
you. I just
remind
wanted,
you, Brian, that you were here at the last board meeting, and the consultants did review that process. We have asked Mr. Mahoney to go ahead and now provide next steps. I also went to the PTA meeting Monday, and I explained the process. We have followed the process that most districts follow, no exception. The district did not make a decision in closed session. They are making it here today in open session, as far as who they're going to hire as the consultant. Just wanted to clarify those things.
Okay. That's great. But in reading that, my concern I was not clear on was if that selection committee will be expanded and there will be a number of public forums
It's going to be
as opposed to private interviews. Okay. Thank you.
all right. Brian, we're on the same page.
Thank you.
Last meeting, there was a lot to chew on. A lot of information went out at the last meeting. The meeting before that was canceled. We show up, we have 2 options, 2 firms to look at. Look no further than our presidential election this year. We have 2 options, and I wish for a third, because we have some horrible options. I'm not saying that this is a horrible option, but there has been 0 public input as of yet, which is coming. But yet, We're the other two options. Once this option is made, he's bringing 2 to 3, which I believe was a comment of last meeting, options again. This is an election year. Pump the brakes for me, please. Allow the new board to be there, to have an input on something so critical as the hiring of our next superintendent. I'm a parent of 3 kids in this school district. My wife's family's been here since 1891. My future is tied to this school district in more ways than one. Please wait.
Somebody else?
Good evening. I'm Amy. So, I'm a new parent to Calistoga Elementary School. However, my family has been in this Calistoga community for 5 generations. I applaud the parents having such an interest in having a subcommittee selection for this new superintendent because this is such a critical role. I feel that Calistoga schools have the worst reputation in the valley, and it has been at the hands of someone that I don't approve of and would like to have input on who our new superintendent shall be. Our home has dropped 40% in value in this last year, primarily due to bad press and discriminatory practices, and this needs to change. I just plead with the board to really consider a consulting group and an individual person that has the heart and soul of Calistoga in its love. We need change here, and we need to have some of this renewed spirit and energy that Ms. McCloud has brought to elementary school. I applaud her. It is wonderful to actually see somebody come and be at our school smiling every single day. And we need to have more parents at a broader level that understand that we have a new direction in the school. So please consider that all the public comment and parent input is really needed in this selection.
And your name was?
Mr. Margaris.
Thank you. Well, I think we are not selecting a superintendent today. We're hiring a consulting search firm to engage everybody in their input of what we want to see in a superintendent. So this is going to be a lengthy process. We're taking the first step now by approving Mr. Mahoney's contract to get this process going and starting it early. And we're going to have everybody's input. So as far as being secretive about it, everybody's going to have input on what they want to see in the future. So, anything else anybody else like to add? Item 13.2, recommendation to request to approve entering into agreement with Mahoney Consulting as presented. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Student rep? Aye. With that said, Mr. Mahoney, would you care to give us a little breakdown?
Not pressure. I have some handouts, so maybe you guys can share these and make copies just so you can see. This describes next step in the process, and everything you've said is addressed. So I think you're going to be happy with the process.
Is this the same thing that was in the last board package
No.
last month?
Different.
It's different.
Yes. Yeah. It's the same information, but provided more detail.
Thank you.
So thank you for this opportunity. It's going to be great to work with you. I do know your district and love it. You know, I've worked with you in a variety of capacities for the past 3 years, so this is a real treat for me to work even further with you to help you in your search for your next superintendent. So the process I outlined last month was in general terms. I can talk real briefly about specific next steps. I am a retired superintendent, as I indicated before, and I have done searches, only 8 so far, but 8 in the surrounding areas. Not in Napa yet, but in Sonoma and Lorne County. So I've done 8, including your neighbors to the North Alexander Valley this past year, and also your neighbors to the west, Rincon Valley, 2 years ago. and then a variety of other districts in Marin and Sonoma. I'm pleased to say that in the 4 years that I've done the searches, every one of the superintendents is still gainfully employed, and the boards are happy with their selections still. And if you know how superintendents go today, that's rare to have superintendents that long often. So our goal for you will be to provide you with a variety of candidates that you can pick from that will be with you for a long time and you're very happy with. So far, knock on wood, that's happened. So the process that I use is common. It's a typical process with all search firms. Mine is a little bit more detailed. So when you look at the input gathering process at the beginning, that's the part that I spend just about the most time on. So your search is beginning very early. Most superintendents don't even announce that they're leaving until November of this year, so another month or so out. Some wait until January. So you're getting a head start. So you're on what I call the first wave of superintendent hiring. There tend to be about 3 waves over the course of the spring, starting in January. So you're right there. You're about the first district to announce a process, although another district, and it's good that you maybe put that in the contract, Monique, because another district did call me from the area and ask about doing a search for them. So the beginning part of the process is extensive input gathering. So I will bet that I'll meet with every one of you and take all the input that you can give me. So the way I do it, so for example, in Lincoln Valley, I met with 34 different groups and individuals until they were done meeting with me. So I'll meet with you to the extent that you'd like me to meet with you. So what I tend to do with the district support is for employees, I ask for at least one after-school meeting with employees at each site, and then also for one sub at each site to meet with individual employees during the school day. Make appointments with me every 20 minutes. If it takes more than that, then we can do that. And if we need more after-school meetings, I can do that. For parents, I am suggesting one after-school meeting at each site, and then one evening meeting in the district with all parents, and then a separate meeting after school for your Latino community, and one in the evening for your Latino community. I'll meet individually with your board members, with your district office staff, with your principals, to gather input about what everyone perceives as being most important as far as qualifications of every new superintendent. Are they a doctor? Are they experienced? Are they a superintendent? Those sorts of things. And also, I think in a lot of ways more important, what kind of person is the new superintendent as far as their personal attributes. So it's easy to look at professional qualifications. When you look at candidates, you can look at their resume and pretty clearly see how well qualified they are. It's very difficult to determine who the person is during just a couple-hour interview process. So what my job is from now until I'm recommending the December board meeting is to meet with as many people in the district as possible, gather thoughts both in person and groups, and then also using a survey, monkey survey that's available to everyone. Meeting with students, we just talked briefly about an opportunity to meet with some high school students in elementary. We have a desire to meet with some elementary students to get some input from them about who really you'd like to see as your next superintendent as far as how qualified they are and what kind of person they are. Once I gather all that input, I come back to the board and I say, this is what I think I've heard. You'll be able to see some data. And then the board at that point, if you look at the one chart, that's kind of the flow of information. So the process I use flows. So the flow is, at the beginning, extensive input gathering from as many people as possible. Once I gather the input, I bring it all to you, the board, and you tell me, based on everything you've presented and everything we've heard, these are the qualifications that we think are most important, and these are the personal attributes we think are most important. From that point, that starts the process. So the input gathering is the beginning of the process. The meat of the process really is after that. So I use that input and what you determine to be most important for everything else. So after that board meeting where you approve the most important qualifications, the most important personal qualifications, we develop advertising material, we develop screening criteria. So if you remember, we used EdJoin as the application procedure. On EdJoin, the screeners that use will look at 10 criteria that I ask you to approve. So you'll come up with criteria based on the input that you approve at that board meeting. The screeners will look at the applications. And in terms of those 10 criteria, the candidates will respond to writing prompts on the application based on those criteria. The screeners, who are 3 current successful superintendents. I don't release the names of the screeners except to the board members, because I don't want to be in positions with candidates calling and saying, why didn't I get screened in? So I guarantee that you'll be very happy with the 3 people who have already agreed to be your screeners. They're in the area. They know your schools very well. They have great reputations, and so they will independently grade the applications against those 10 criteria. So each application is scored from 0 to 100. Once they score the applications, I meet with them and say, does this make sense, the scores that you've given? So in general, so far, in the 8 searches I've done, there are 3 clear groups. There will be a group at the top that all 3 screeners feel comfortable recommending to you to consider. There will be a group at the bottom that none of them feel comfortable recommending to you. There will be a group in the middle where there's mixed reviews. And so once they do that process, I come to you and I report that to you. I say, here are the 3 groups. I talk about most, the group at the top, some, the group in the middle, and none, the group in the bottom. Still, you will be looking at the applications and you will be able to choose who you want to interview. So I recommend that you consider 6 to 8 people to interview. The questions during the interview process come out of the input from the very beginning. So we'll start massaging those questions soon based on the input that you approve in December. And then once you interview, the vetting process involves the same criteria. So we look at their qualifications, we look at what kind of person they are. And something that I do more than other firms is I call at least 15 references for your top candidates. So I don't pay a lot of attention to who they put on their resume. As far as who to call, I tell them who we'd like to talk to. So in general, the people that I call are, if they're a superintendent, current board president, past board president, and last district, the board president when they left, district office staff member, district office assistant superintendent if there's one, the principals, if it's a high school district, and I talk to a high school principal, a middle school principal, elementary principal. I talk to a regular education teacher, a special education teacher, a regular education parent, special education parent, president of CSEA, president of the teachers union, community member, foundation president, one PTA president, and I think that's about it. So I call all those people and I check with them against the criteria that you've given me from the very beginning that came out of the input that I received from everybody to verify that they are who they say they are. I say to boards, and you'll hear this from in the future, so far no one has been perfect. So I will have information for you that's not 100% favorable, but I believe it's my duty to you to tell everything that I can about these candidates so you're making the best decision. I anticipate, based on the timeline that I've seen, that contract approval will be at your April board meeting. That means everything has to back up from them. That's perfect timing for hiring a superintendent, as I indicated at the last meeting. March is too early. Candidates would have a hard time scrambling to put an application together and may be reluctant to notify their district so early that they're considering another position. The process is one that is closed, and that's my recommendation. Many qualified people will not apply to a process that involves more than the school board interviewing them. The reason for that is that if you're interviewing superstars, you want to interview superstars, the superstar who's currently employed will be reluctant to tell people in his or her district that they're applying for another position. So we try to limit the number of opportunities for the names of the candidates to get back to where they're currently employed, if that makes sense. So that's a fast summary. Sorry to take so much time. We're going to be working a lot together. You will know me really well, and you all will know me really well. I'll answer every question you have. If you do have questions of me, my email is available, my cell phone is available, and I'll talk to you as long as you want to talk to me to get your input.
All right, Scott, welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. As I mentioned earlier, you already have candidates out there who are chomping at the bit to apply. So I'm confident you're going to have a good number of highly qualified candidates based on the criteria that you established. Thank you.
Any more comments from the public after the presentation?
I got a question. Would you answer a question?
Of course you can. Come on up to the,
Um,
you come up to the podium.
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, I'd like to say of the two firms that I'm very pleased with the decision here. I want to pick him out of the two also. Right here, you have staff, parents, and individual trustees. On a scale between 5, no duplicates, please, would you list the importance of their input? On a scale between 1 and 5.
That's hard. I don't know if I can do that. But the handout that he's looking at is a handout that I give at each of the input meetings. So it's a two-sided handout. So this is the handout that I give at the beginning of the meeting. And then with each of the groups, I have a process that's fun for them to do that lists all the possible qualifications and all the attributes. And then we do an activity to prioritize what each group's beliefs are. So this is the handout. So if you see the one page that says what you want to see in your new superintendent, at the bottom, it indicates that looking at all the input from faculty and staff, input from parents and community, added to input from trustees equals the total input to be considered by you when I come back to you in December. Who's most important? It's a school community here. It's a valued by everybody in the community in my mind. So everybody's important for the input. Who's most important at the end? Who makes the decision about who to hire as the new superintendent of the board? It's their responsibility.
Thanks again.
Any other questions?
Wants paper back.
Anything else?
All right. Thanks again, Scott.
Sure, thank you.
Moving on. 13.3, GAM Amendment Resolution 16-1706.
Every year, as part of the unaudited actuals, the state software does a calculation and determines an adjusted GAM limit, and this is something that we have to have board approved, and then we submit to the state. And as you can see in the summary, this has been around for a very long time. So we request that the board approve the GAM limit increase.
So I move that we approve the resolution as presented.
All in favor? Aye. Let's do the rep. Okay. 13.4, unaudited actuals. Financial reports included but not limited to the revenues and expenditures for the 2015-16 school year. These reports are used as a source document in which our independent auditors develop their annual report.
So I'll just point out a few key points, since this is really information you've seen all year last year. But first, we finished out the school year with a 9.33% reserve. And as you've heard many a times, there are many reasons that our reserves are important, but one being cash flow. We rely on our reserves to meet all of our obligations up through November until we get our first property tax payment. And then also, fortunately, Calistoga, amongst some other districts during the recession, were fiscally prudent, and that's the reason they were able to survive the recession. So it's always important to keep that in mind. And also, coming down from the state is that 16-17 is possibly the last good year of revenues. And really, it's only been the last 2 years that we've had such an increase in property tax revenue. So it's just important to keep that in mind so we can prepare for what's to come.
And then lastly, of course, as you well know, our facilities. There's always those unexpected high-cost repairs that pop up, and you always hope that you can be prepared for that. And page 51, you'll see the over $555,000 fund balance in Fund 40, and that is going to be spent on the CES Wall and Fire Lane project, and that plus some. And then, of course, now we have this pipe project. So it's extremely important that we always keep those things in mind in terms of our reserves.
Recommendation is to request to accept the audit actuals as presented.
I move to accept the as presented.
What she said. Okay. All in favor? Student rep? 13.5, proposals for consulting services. The district hired Verdi Castellanos Architects, DCA, to investigate the condition of the 24-inch storm drain in the elementary school campus, as well as recommend a strategy to implement recommended repairs.
The board have been very involved in the process and understanding some of the issues that we have that need to be corrected due to this 24-inch storm drain. So at this point, we're bringing to you the final recommendation under 13.5 to accept the proposal for project management support services as it relates to the repairs of that abandoned storm drain.
Looking for a motion? Second. All in favor? Aye. Student rep? Aye. 13.6, Preston Pipelines Incorporated proposal.
This item would be approving the contract for the general contractor to come in and stabilize that drain pipe that we need to stabilize.
Any questions? All right.
I'll second.
All right. That means if anything goes wrong, you have to pay. I'll leave all the just kidding. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Student rep? Aye. There you go. All right, 14, future agenda items, tentative November agenda items, the Williams quarterly reports, culinary arts update, college and career center update, and Palisades continuation of high school vision and goals. Item 15, board calendar. Next meeting is Monday, November 7th. Regular board meeting at 6 p.m. And then Monday, December 12th, regular board meeting at 6 p.m. Herb, are you here to say hi?
I haven't been here for long.
We have a celebrity in the house.
Welcome, Herb.
What can I do?
All right. We're glad to have you.
Would you like to become the next superintendent? There you go.
There's no necessary to reconvene to closed session. And so I'm looking for item 18.
I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
That's Marty's. Marty seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right.